Hi, my name's Leanne and I am taking you through a 60-minute vinyasa flow today. This is going to be a very hip-focused class, so you should feel nice and limbered and loose after this. You want to make sure that you're started in a seated position for a little bit of breath work at the very beginning. That can be cross-legged, that can be with butterfly legs, any comfortable position of your choice, and you could even do it seated on a chair if that works for you. Make sure you're sitting up nice and tall, your shoulders are relaxed all the way down your back. You might even take a couple of rolls for your shoulders. Before allowing them to settle down, hands can just relax on your lap wherever feels comfortable and wherever doesn't feel awkward in any way, shape or form. I'd like you now to allow your eyes to close. And if you prefer to, they can always just soften down towards the ground so that your focus can be a little bit more inward. Take a moment here to maybe adjust your position, maybe sit a touch more upright. Elongate the crown of your head all the way up towards the ceiling. And just take a moment here to check in with yourself, first thing. See how you feel physically, mentally, emotionally. And all of these feelings that you might be able to pinpoint, don't worry about them or don't judge them in any way, shape or form. Just take a moment to recognize them, to sense them, and to use as a marker to compare to how you feel after the practice. Now I want you to turn your focus more in towards your breath so that you can leave those thoughts and feelings, sensations behind. Take a deep breath in by nose. Let it go with a sigh out the mouth. Breath in by nose. Inhale. Exhale out by mouth. The last one here. Over the next few breaths, you'll make the conscious switch to breathing in and out by nose. Maybe this is the natural style of breathing for you, but for many of us, we need to make a really conscious decision to breathe in this way, for it's not natural for us to breathe in and out by nose. We tend to normally breathe in by nose and out by mouth. In yoga, we use this breath in and out by nose as it helps to elongate the breath. It helps to deepen the breath. It helps us to train our diaphragmatic and intercostal muscles around our ribcage so that we can strengthen our lungs and in turn strengthen and support our breath. I want you to notice how, even after just a few breaths, breathing in and out by nose, it already is easier from when you first started. Notice that cooler air as you breathe in by nose. It goes into your nostrils. And how that air is ever so slightly warmer as it leaves your nostrils. Some of you might experience the breath as you exhale, just brush across the top of your top lip. You might experience the breath in your throat, your chest, your back, or your belly. Wherever you are experiencing it now, I'd like you to try and shift that physical experience towards your abdomen. So place your hands just on your rib cage, just at the very bottom of your ribs, maybe on your belly, whatever your preference is. for our belly and our lowest two ribs to rise as we breathe in. And these same parts to soften as we breathe out by nose. In by nose, belly rises. Out by nose, belly falls. In by nose, belly rises. Out by nose, belly falls. Keep on going. If your attention moves on to something else, something other than your breath, congratulate yourself for noticing. And just bring your awareness back to your breathing. Inhaling, belly rises. Exhaling, belly falls. Inhaling, belly rises. Exhaling, belly falls. Continuing here for a few more moments. Take a breath in by nose. Open out your mouth wide, let it all out. Breath in by nose. Out by mouth. Taking one more like that if you need to. Breath in by nose. Out by mouth. Good. Tuck your chin all the way now in towards your chest. Enjoy that stretch here across the back of your neck as you switch back to breathing in and out by nose. On an exhale, your chin might come slowly closer down towards your chest, deepening that stretch across the back of your neck. Take your right ear all the way over towards your right shoulder and hold the stretch here. You can take your left hand all the way down to the floor if you so wish, and you can take your right hand just above your left ear to deepen the stretch a little bit further. Note that I'm not pulling on the side of my head, I'm purely weighing it down with my right hand to create a deeper stretch all the way across the left hand side of the neck for 2. Last one here. Exhale, gently release your hands back down to the mat, draw your chin back towards your chest. This time take your left ear all the way over towards your left shoulder. Feel that stretch across the right hand side of your neck. You can take your hand to your head. You can extend your right arm all the way out to create a deeper stretch all the way across the right hand side for 3. For 2. Last one here. Gently release your left hand down, bring your chin all the way back in towards your chest. Take a couple of circles of your head in one direction. And then reverse, take them the other way. Perfect. Bring your chin in towards your chest, open out your eyes, and when you're ready, roll over onto your hands and knees from here. So you'll be coming into an all-fours position. Hands are underneath shoulders, knees are underneath your hips. From here we'll take a couple of regular cat-cows. Let's take an inhale here and lower the belly, lifting your gaze very gently forward. Exhale, we'll round through the spine, tuck our chin all the way in towards our chest. Head is nice and heavy. Inhale, lower belly, lift gaze gently forward. Exhale, round through spine, touch into chest. We'll take one last one here. Perfect. From your cat stretch here, tuck your toes under and slightly widen your knees so that they're almost as wide as the mat. Allow your tops of your feet to come down to the floor. Inhale, press your hips forward, lift your gaze, slightly look forward. Exhale, send your hips all the way back towards your heels. You're almost in a wide knee child's pose. Inhale, press the hips forward, lift your gaze forward. Exhale, send your hips all the way back towards your heels. 2 more like this. Inhale, bring yourself forward. Exhale, send your hips back. And last one here. Press your hips forward. Actually hold them forward here for a moment. Start to maybe gently sway your weight from one hand and into the other here, just to get a slight stretch across the front of the hips for 2. You're just moving your torso from side to side. Last one here. Come all the way back through center. Walk your hands back towards your knees. Right fingertips down to the mat. Inhale, send the left hand high towards the sky. Lift and lengthen your fingertips up to the ceiling. Could you look up towards those your left fingers? My apologies. Exhale, left hand comes down all the way to the ground. Inhale, we swap sides, right hand to the ceiling. Lifting gaze up to right middle finger for 3. For 2. Last breath here. Exhale, bring yourself all the way back down. And again, walk yourself back to an all-fours position. Tuck toes under, bring your knees underneath your hips. We're going to keep our left toes tucked. Draw your tummy button in towards your spine. Spread your fingertips nice and wide. Draw your right knee so that it is in line with your hips roughly. And we're going to start to take circles of the knee. So you're going to draw the knee all the way in towards the chest, take it wide to the side, and then bring it back. Now, all the time that we're doing this, we're trying to keep the rest of our body as stable as possible. So you'll notice how the rest of my body isn't moving too much. Good. Last one here. Allow the right foot to come down to the ground. Toes are tucked. Draw that left knee now in towards your chest, and we start to take that same motion here, but this time with our left knee. Keep on pushing actively through your left hand so that you don't collapse into the right hand side. Good. We'll make this next one here the last one. Tuck the toes under. On your next exhale, push through your hands. Send your hips up towards the ceiling. We'll find a downward facing dog. Bend your knees a lot. Push your hands so that your chest comes nice and close to your thighs. That's the word I'm looking for. And then take an inhale, rise up high towards the very tips of your toes. Your legs might straighten. Exhale, soften your heels down towards the ground. Knees might soften as well at the end. Inhale, rise up high onto the tips of your toes. Straighten your legs. Exhale, soften your heels down. Bend your knees. Last one like this. Inhale to rise. Exhale, soften the heels down towards the mat. Bend your knees a lot. We'll then walk our hands now back towards our feet. Good. So you're at the back of the mat now, nice and heavy in your ragdoll position. Bend your knees a lot. And take a little nod of your head, yes. And a shake of your head, no. Before placing your hands on your shins, we'll take a couple of halfway lifts here. So on your next inhale, bend your knees, squeeze your glutes. Inhale, halfway lift. Straight spine. Notice how my shoulders are pinned back, chest is pressing through. Exhale here, we bend forward fold. Allow the head to be heavy at the end. Hands on shins. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Last one here. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale here, we bend forward fold. Perfect. Bend your knees a lot now. Allow your arms to flop along the ground or maybe just dangling just above and start to roll yourself up to standing. Take your time. There is zero rush. Head's the last thing to come all the way up. And once you get to up to standing, roll your shoulders up towards your ears. Allow them to settle down your back, and let's walk all the way towards the front of the mat. Squeeze your glutes, engage through your core, stand tall, and allow your eyes to close or soften. Take a moment here to allow your breath to flow through you as you breathe in and out by nose. Send your breath all the way around your body so that you feel yourself being energized all the way from the inside, all the way out. And as you continue to breathe here, I want you to focus on one thing that you feel grateful for. And maybe offer up your practice to that person or thing that you hold in your mind's eye. For that person, that thing to have come to mind, it must be important. So let's hold it here in our mind's eye for a couple of breaths. Gently open out the eyes now. And when you're ready, bring yourself into the room. Use your next inhale to raise your hands high up towards the ceiling. Lift your palms all the way up towards the sky and lift your fingertips up towards the ceiling. Bend your knees. We're mixing it up. Take your hands and interlace them behind your back. Loosely or palm to palm, inhale, pull your hands away from your shoulders. Send your chest up to the sky. Feel an opening across the front of the chest. Gently straighten the legs, release your hands to your lower back, inhale, hands go up towards the ceiling. Exhale, they come together, we forward fold, hinge from the hips, release your fingertips down to the ground, heavy head at the end. Take an inhale, halfway lift, hands on shins, elongate your spine, keep your legs at a slight bend in your legs. Exhale, here we bend, forward fold. Step back to a plank. We'll hold the plank for a couple of breaths. Squeeze your glutes. Think about engaging through your core. Your shoulders are stacked over your wrists and we're holding for one more breath here. Lower your knees, untuck your toes. Bend your elbows as you start to exhale and lower down. Elbows go to the back of the room. This is half chaturanga. Inhale, squeeze your shoulders to peel chest off the floor, find cobra. Exhale, push back, child's pose. Exhale, and your next breath out, downward facing dog. Look forward now to the front of the mat, step, walk or take a hop all the way forward. Exhale here, we forward fold. Bend your knees, inhale, raise your hands up towards the ceiling. One breath, one movement, lift your gaze upwards. Exhale, hands come behind your lower back. They interlace, knees soften. Inhale, send your hands away from your lower back, lift chest to the sky. Hold here for a couple of breaths. Breathing in and out by nose. Exhale, soften your hands down, straighten your legs. Inhale, reach the hands up towards the ceiling. Look up. Exhale, here we forward fold. Inhale, take a halfway lift, long spine, straight-ish legs. Exhale, here we forward fold. Step back to a plank. Hold your plank. Knees lower, toes untucked. Let's take an exhale, half chaturanga down to the floor. Come down in a straight line. Inhale, squeeze your shoulders. Peel chest off the floor. We'll find our cobra. Exhale, push back, child's pose. And in your next couple of breaths, find your downward facing dog. Inhale, send your right leg high towards the sky. Lift that right foot all the way up towards the ceiling. Exhale, gently draw your knee towards your nose, your hairline, and lightly step your right foot in between your hands. You're in a runner's lunge when you take your gaze forward. Left knee comes down, toes remain tucked. Inhale, sweep your hands up towards the ceiling. Exhale, sit your hips back. Set your hips forward, my apologies, a little bit deeper. Inhale, reach up, back off from your hip stretch a little bit. Exhale, sit that little bit deeper and bring your hands to frame your right foot. This time, step your left foot forward to meet your right. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, take a halfway lift. Long spine, straighter legs. Exhale, here we forward fold. Knees bend a lot now. Inhale, sweep your arms alongside your ears. Come all the way up to chair pose. Remembering hands could always be in front of the chest as another option. We're here for a couple of breaths. Sit a little bit deeper in your hips. Lift your chest up a little bit higher. We're here for 3, for 2. Last breath here. Exhale, here we forward fold. Heavy head at the end. Inhale, take a halfway lift. Exhale, here we forward fold. Listen out for the instructions. This time your left foot steps back. It is a big step. Your left knee comes down to the floor, toes are tucked. Inhale, both hands up towards the ceiling. Exhale, sit a little bit deeper, forward in your hips. Inhale, reach your hands up, back off in the stretch. Exhale, bring your hands down all the way to frame your right foot. Step back to a plank. Now, if you wish to, you can continue with your half chaturanga, which we've been practicing in our vinyasas. Otherwise, you can exhale and lower down through a full chaturanga. If you're taking that option, you're bending the elbows and lowering down to halfway, at which point you're then inhaling and coming up to your upward facing dog. You should feel a nice opening across the front of the body. Everyone lower your knees down to the floor. And then exhale, sit back, child's pose. In your next couple of breaths, find your downward facing dog. On your next inhale, left leg lifts high towards the ceiling. Lift the left foot all the way to the sky. Exhale, knee to nose. Gently step your left foot forward in between your hands. Look forward on your fingertips, runner's lunge. Right knee comes down, toes stay tucked. Inhale, both hands up towards the ceiling. Exhale, sit your hips forward a little deeper. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, set the hips forward a little bit deeper. Bring your hands to frame your left foot. Right foot on the exhale steps forward to meet your left. We forward fold. Inhale, take a halfway lift. Long spine, straighter legs. Exhale, here we forward fold. Knees bend a lot. Inhale, find chair pose. Sit nice and deep in your hips. Reach your hands up or keep them pressing actively together in front of your chest for 3 breaths. For 2. Last breath here, exhale, here we forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine, straighter legs. Exhale, here we forward fold. Step your right foot, big step back, all the way back. Right knee comes down, toes stay tucked. Inhale, both hands lift. Exhale, let's sit a little bit deeper in that left hip. Inhale, lift up and back on. Exhale, as you press your hips forward, bring your hands down to frame left foot, step back to a plank. Take a vinyasa if you're choosing, or skip the vinyasa if you wish to. Either way, we're meeting back in our child's pose for a couple of longer breaths here. Take a deep breath in by nose. Sigh out the mouth. Breath in by nose. Sigh out the mouth. Here we take a couple of sways of your torso on the mat in your child's pose, side to side, as you start to come up to breathing in and out by nose. Perfect. From here, come through center, tuck your toes under. We'll find our downward facing dog. Inhale, send the right leg high towards the ceiling. Lift your right leg by squeezing your right glute. Exhale, draw your right knee towards your nose, your hairline. Curve your spine, your body weight comes forward. Inhale, send the right leg high towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring your right knee down halfway between your right hand and your left foot. Turn to your left hand side of your mat and inhale, send the left hand high towards the sky. Press your hips forward, lift your hips high to the ceiling. Exhale, bring that left hand down, turn onto the toes of your left foot. Exhale, send that right leg all the way back up to the sky. Exhale, knee to nose. Lightly step your right foot in between your hands. Come onto your fingertips, runner's lunge. At this point, you might step your left foot forward a little bit to make sure that you're feeling grounded in your feet. Inhale, rise all the way up to a high lunge position. Bend deeply into that right knee, your back leg is straight. You're nice and high on your back foot. Reach your fingertips actively towards the ceiling. Nicely done. From here, on your exhale, bring your hands in towards your chest. Remember, you could always keep them above your head if you wanted a challenge. Draw your left knee in towards your chest as you shift the weight towards your right foot. Stand up nice and tall. Good. Think about maybe challenging yourself here. You could always extend your left leg long if you wanted to, and maybe even flex the foot back towards your face for 3. Don't worry if you wobble, exactly like I'm wobbling. Good. Bend your left knee, draw it in towards your chest. Now bend your right knee a lot. Come into a deep bend into that right knee. Send your left knee behind your right. And just graze your toes of your left foot off the mat all the way to the right hand side. This is a curtsy lunge here. Can we bend into that right knee a little bit more? Option, if your hands were in front of your chest, to raise them up towards the ceiling in a V shape for 3, for 2. Last breath here. Inhale, rise back up, left knee to chest. Slowly bend your right knee, drive that left foot back. Exhale, step out into a high lunge. Inhale, lift both of your hands up towards the ceiling. Exhale, take your right hand behind you, your left hand forward. Can you keep your gaze over your right fingertips here in your twisted lunge? This is a good challenge for the balance as your point of focus changes. Can you look at your right thumb? Keep your gaze with your right thumb. Inhale, take your hands up towards the ceiling, high lunge. Exhale, your left hand goes back, your right hand forward. This time we take a twist. This time either you can keep your gaze on your right thumb or you can extend your gaze all the way to the back of the room, towards left thumb. Inhale, take the gaze all the way forward, sweep your hands all the way up towards the ceiling. And then bring your hands down in front of your chest. You're going to be taking a quarter turn now to the left-hand side of your mat, and you're going to be bending deeply into your right knee. Creating a stretch into the inside of your left thigh. Notice how I've come onto the heel of my left foot. That foot could always come down. We want to create a deep stretch into the inner thigh here, which might mean that you look something like this. You might look further down, more like this. You could be all the way down here, but you're working with an option that creates a stretch into the inside of your left thigh. Now, wherever you are, you can choose to stay here, or you can take the option of reaching your hands up towards the ceiling. You could even take the option of looking up to the ceiling to challenge your balance. That right leg is working hard. We're here for 3, 2, the last one here. Bring your hands in front of your chest for this transition. You're going to do in one movement a swift and maybe elegant transition all the way towards the front of the mat, back to high lunge. Exhale, bring your hands down either side of your right foot. Step back to a plank. Take a vinyasa if you're choosing. I'll demonstrate a half chaturanga once again, lowering knees to the floor. Exhale, half chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Of course, you can take your upward facing dog here. Exhale, child's pose. We'll need to come back all the way up to our downward facing dog from here. And inhale, send your left leg high towards the sky. Exhale, draw your knee towards your nose, your hairline, curve your spine, body weight comes forward. And on your exhale, send your left leg all the way back up. This time, exhale, draw your left knee down towards the floor. It's coming halfway between your right foot, your left hand, your right leg extends to the back of the mat. Inhale, right hand lifts towards the ceiling. So again, we're pressing our hips forward, lifting our hands high up towards the sky. Perfect. Should feel a nice stretch all the way across the front of the body. Great. Exhale, right hand down. Tuck your right toes under. Inhale, send that left leg high towards the sky. Exhale, knee to nose. Shift your body weight forward, shoulders are over hands, left foot steps in between your hands, come onto your fingertips, runner's lunge. Step your back foot in if you feel the need to feel more grounded. Inhale, find your high lunge here. Lift your fingertips up towards the sky. Remember the activity required on that back leg. Bend deeply into your left knee. Gently shift your weight towards your left foot now. Remember, hands could be in front of your chest. Let's draw the right knee all the way up in towards the chest. Stand nice and tall here. Maybe extend your right leg long. Embrace the quiver if there is one in your leg. Bend that right knee. Now bend your left knee. Bend it deeply as you send your right knee behind the back of your left. Kneecap touches the back of the knee. Your toes just graze the ground here. Hands could be in front of your chest for stability, or they can take that V shape to make that left leg work a little bit harder. Your gaze could be up to the ceiling for an extra challenge for 2. You could wobble out just like I just did then. The last one here, draw your right knee all the way up towards your chest. Good, and then exhale, very gently step yourself back, find yourself into high lunge. Inhale, reach both hands to the sky. Keeping your focus on your left thumb now, take your gaze towards the back of the room as the left hand goes back, right hand goes forward. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, sweep the hands forward, lift your gaze up as you follow your left thumb. Now take the gaze over to your right thumb. Exhale, open out to your right hand side. Nice. From here, inhale, sweep your hands high towards the ceiling. Find your high lunge. Take a quarter turn then towards the back, to the right hand side of your mat. Your hands are in front of your chest, and we come into our side lunge on our left leg here. So the bend is deep into our left knee to feel a stretch into the inside of the right thigh. You could be high up like this, lower down, or all the way down in the side on the way that I showed you on the other side. Whichever position you're in, hands could be up towards the ceiling. Gaze could be up towards the ceiling. But we're focusing on that stretch into the inner right thigh. And on your next exhale, see if you can do it in one movement. Turn to face the front of the mat. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, hands come down either side of your left foot. Step back to a plank. Take a vinyasa of your choosing, and I'll see you back in a child's pose from here. Take a deep breath in here by nose. Sigh out the mouth. Breath in by nose. Sigh out the mouth. And take one more of those if you feel the need to. Exhale, downward facing dog. You're back to breathing in and out by nose now. Maybe take a pedal out of your feet one by one. What I mean by that is you're bending one knee to stretch the back of the opposite leg, and then you're swapping over. On your next inhale here, come back through center and send your right leg high towards the ceiling. Lift and lengthen your leg all the way up towards the sky. Exhale, draw your knee towards your nose, your hairline. Curve your spine, body weight comes forward. Your shoulders are over your wrists. Exhale, step your right foot in between your hands. Come into a runner's lunge here. Look forward on your fingertips. Lengthen all the way from the crown of the head to the lower part of your back. Left knee comes down. Toes can stay touched, but I do want you to shift your left leg back a little bit from here. Inhale, sweep your hands up towards the ceiling. Now you should already feel a slightly deeper stretch on the front of the left thigh because we've sent our left knee back. If you're not feeling anything in an upright position, feel free to send it back a little bit more. Or take hold of opposite elbows or opposite forearms. Now the choice is yours. Take an inhale, lengthen your spine. Send your arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, reach over to the right hand side. So that you create a deeper stretch here across the front of your left thigh and left abdomen. Exhale, come all the way back through center. Inhale, hands reach towards the sky. We're going to take a couple of motions here. So on your next inhale, I'd like you to squeeze your shoulders back and lift your chest up towards the ceiling. Exhale, sweep your hands forward. Inhale, lift the hands up towards the sky. Squeeze your shoulders back. Exhale, sweep your hands down. Inhale, squeeze your shoulders back. And on your next one here, on your next inhale, I'd like you to lift your back knee off the floor. We're back again in high lunge. Nice. You can always step that back foot in, particularly if you feel as though your stance was a little bit too long. Perfect. Hands now can float in front of the chest, or they can stay alongside your ears. Shift the weight into your right foot and gently transfer yourself into a warrior three position. So that's a single leg balance here. Some teachers will say that you need to aim for a capital T-shaped position, but really you just want the left leg elevated off the floor. You want that left leg active though, so squeeze the glute to lift the left leg. Now, you've got the option of staying here for a few more breaths, but if you want a challenge here today, you can start to take your right fingertips down to the mat. If they do not touch, do not be afraid about bending your right knee so that your fingertips can touch. Your left hand can now go high up towards the sky, and we find ourselves in our half moon posture. If you want some extra challenge from here, you can always take your gaze up towards your left hand. Keep on breathing in and out by nose, whether you're in warrior three or half moon. And whichever posture you're in now, bend your right knee. Slowly step your left foot back. Find high lunge. From here, gently start to bend your left knee. Send your left foot back. Notice how I'm kind of moving it side to side to get it to inch itself back down. Left knee touches down. From here, take your hands to your hips and extend your right leg along. So you've got a roughly straight line here. I'd like you to come onto the heel of your right foot. You can either stay exactly where you are here. You might be getting enough of a stretch across your back thigh. Otherwise, inhale, reach your hands to the ceiling. Exhale, reach your hands forward and bring your hands down either onto the leg, or if they reach comfortably, bring your fingertips down to the floor. Try to straighten your back as much as possible and flex your toes back towards your face. This is our half splits posture. Couple more breaths here. And then we take the weight into the right foot and bring both of your hands down to the inside of your right leg. You can bend it flat in the back of the left foot down to the floor, and we're in lizard. If you need to, you can heel toe your right foot all the way out to the right hand side of your mat. And I'd like you here to take some circles of your hips. So this is a little bit of freestyling here. You don't need to be doing anything in particular. It could be circles, it could be a kind of figure of eight shape, but we're just allowing our legs to stretch and to open out through the hips and the lower back, because all of this area is so interconnected. We'll settle now in our lizard posture, so you can keep yourself on your hands. You could bend your elbows to come down a little bit deeper to create a deeper stretch into the inner right thigh and outer right thigh. If you've got the flexibility and it feels good for you, we obviously, remember, we never want to feel pain, come down onto your forearms. I actually wouldn't opt for this personally myself in my body today, so I'm going to bend my elbows. Takes me down a little bit deeper, but doesn't force me into any place that feels uncomfortable. And then from here, take the weight back into your hands, come off of your forearms if you were on them, find your all fours position. You can take a little shake of your hips from side to side. Sometimes a little bit of release feels really good. And then from here, we'll find ourselves all the way back in downward facing dog. This is a perfect point to take a vinyasa. I'll be waiting for you here in downward facing dog if that's what you would like to do, and if that is the thing that feels as though will nourish your body right now. Make sure that if you commit to the vinyasa that you're doing it properly to the best of your ability. And in your next couple of breaths, meet me back downward facing dog. On your next inhale, left leg lifts up towards the ceiling. Good, really send the toes all the way up towards the sky. Exhale, draw your knee towards your nose, your hairline, curve your spine, your body weight comes forward. Hold it here for a couple of breaths. Perfect. Exhale, step your left foot in between your hands. Come onto your fingertips, runner's lunge, elongate the crown of your head towards the ceiling. Then keeping those back toes touched, allow your right foot to come down towards the ground. Good, and send that right knee back a little bit further. Inhale, both hands high towards the ceiling. Take hold of opposite forearms. Inhale, reach and lengthen your spine. Arms try to touch the ceiling. Exhale, we reach them over to the left hand side to create a stretch across the front of the right thigh and the right abdomen. Exhale, come through center. Release the hands. We're going to do those wide sweeping circles again. So inhale, squeeze your shoulders, lift your chest, maybe your gaze up. Exhale, reach the hands all the way forward. Inhale, squeeze and open. Exhale, push forward. On your next one here, you're going to, on your inhale, push through that back foot and rise all the way up to high lunge. You can always step that right foot forward to feel a bit more stable in this position. Hands can stay alongside the ears, or they can come in towards your chest. You're exhaling and floating your way into warrior three. Remember, we're squeezing the right glute to lift your right leg. Now you can stay here, this was option number 1, or you can take your half moon pose onto your left hand side. Do not be afraid about bending your left knee if you need to reach your hand down to the ground. Right hand lifts up towards the ceiling, right leg is active here. For that challenge, you can always take the gaze up towards your right fingertips. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not daring to right now. Whichever position you're in, bend your left knee. Make a very slow, careful transition to high lunge. We're going to start to bend that right knee and shift that right knee back, and back as we lower down to the floor with control, taking hands to your hips and extending your left leg long here. You might feel enough of a stretch as your toes flex to create your half splits in an upright position, or hands can lift up to the ceiling. And on an exhale, we can fold forward over that left leg to create a deeper stretch. If you find that this is more comfortable but a bit too intense on the leg, you can always bend the knee ever so slightly to take some of the stretch out of your left hamstring. It's quite an intense stretch here. Keep on breathing in and out by nose. And it's over now. Exhale. Shift your body weight forward into the left foot, both hands come into the inside. Let's move it out to the far edge of our mat. Flatten the right foot onto the mat. Make those circles with your hips in one or multiple directions. Really just feel the hips open and release. Your head can move positions as well as the spine is interconnected into your hips. Great, and then we can settle into our lizard posture. So you can either stay on your hands, you can come down to your forearms. Again, I'm going to opt for that halfway point of bending my elbows here. Creating a deep stretch into the inner left thigh, front of the right thigh, and outer left hip. And if you are on your forearms, come back onto your hands. Step yourself all the way back to all fours. Take a little wiggle of your hips from side to side. You can then find a downward facing dog if that works for you, and take a vinyasa. Otherwise you can come straight back to a child's pose here. Taking a deep breath in by nose. Let it go out by mouth. Breath in by nose. Let it go out by mouth. On your next exhale, out by nose, walk your hands back towards your knees. And gently bring yourself into a comfortable seated position. We'll start off cross-legged to begin here. So for this next part of the sequence, I'm going to be mirroring you. So I will be doing the opposite, essentially, of what you're doing. So the same side that you go on is the side that I'm going to be doing, essentially. I'll do it all verbally, you'll see what I mean. So we'll be starting off by taking the right knee and lifting it up here. You're also going to take hold of the right foot as you bring your left leg into parallel with the front edge of your mat. You're going to rest the right foot down on your right calf, or if it's available to you, on top of your right knee. Now you'll see that there's space between my foot and the knee, and that's absolutely fine. You might find that you have significantly more space, in which case you can always take the foot down onto the calf if it was on the knee. It might relax down a little bit more. Now this might feel quite enough as it is. You're going to be feeling it onto your right glute here. Otherwise, if you do want to take this a little bit deeper into the right glute, the right lower back, inhale, reach your hands to the ceiling. And exhale, fold all the way forward, keeping those hands nice and active until the end where you can release down here. This is a lovely posture to take a sway of your torso from side to side. And in particular, you might find that when you lean over to the left-hand side, you feel a deeper stretch across the lower back. Bring yourself back to centre and gently use your fingertips to inch yourself upright. Good. We prepare for our cobbler pose. We'll come back to that posture on the other side in just a moment. Now I want you to bring the soles of your feet together. You're taking them into a loose diamond shape. Your feet could be slightly further away for you than what I'm doing right now. Choice is yours. We're not feeling any pain or any aggravation into our knees. Hands are on the ankles or on the shins. Inhale, find length in your spine. Exhale, keep your length, your straightness in your back. Bend your elbows to pull yourself forward. Inhale, find length. Exhale, focus your gaze on just a point about a metre in front of you as you keep on folding. Last one here. Good. And we're just holding this in an active posture here, but what we will be doing is inhaling, lifting our knees up towards our elbows. Exhale, softening the knees down to the floor. Inhale, lift the knees. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Nicely done. Just see if you can go a little bit deeper here without losing that straightness in your spine. Great. And then on your exhale, walk your hands all the way back towards your knees. And we get ready for fire lock on the second side. So take your right leg now. And place that so it's parallel-ish with the front of your mat. Cradle your left knee, your left foot. And you're going to be placing the foot either on the fleshy part of your calf or on the knee, whatever works best for you here. This is my open side. You can definitely tell my knee is nearly touching my foot. Trust me, it has not always been this way. You can stay here if you like. There's going to be plenty for most of us here onto the glute. Otherwise, inhale, reach your hands up towards the ceiling, and exhale, fold forward. And just allow yourself to be nice and passive. What I mean by that is relaxed. So you can even turn your palms to face up to kind of encourage that relaxation, to stop you gripping onto the mat. And we can sway the torso from side to side here. Side to side. Perfect. If this stretch doesn't work for you at all, you can always take a figure of four stretch, or thread the needle is also referred to as an alternate option. Coming back through centre here, you're going to use your hands to inch yourself back into an upright position. And then I'm going to turn towards the front of the mat. You should already be there. Facing that way, we're going to come to lie on our backs in a semi-supine position. Good. Take a moment to just shuffle your shoulders away from your ears. And take your hands slightly wider than the mat here as we start to do some windscreen wipers. So on an exhale, float your knees all the way over to your right hand side. Inhale, draw the knees back to centre. Exhale to the left. Inhale to centre. Exhale right. Inhale centre. Exhale left. Last one here. Inhale back to centre. From here, hug your knees all the way in towards your chest. Give them a tight embrace, a tight hug and a squeeze. Maybe rock your hips here from side to side. You can stay exactly where you are, but if you'd like to take Happy Baby, you're more than welcome to. There's two ways of doing Happy Baby. You can either hold on to the soles of your feet as you bring your knees slightly wider than your chest and send them to the sky, or you can take hold of the backs of the thighs like I'm doing here. And this is a great position to have a little rock and roll about in. Just to massage out the lower back. Great. From here, float your left foot all the way down towards the ground and just bring your right knee close in towards your chest now. Give it a tight squeeze, a tight embrace. You can roll your right ankle one way, then send the toes going in the opposite direction. And then keeping your body still, just start to move your right leg around in your socket. So you want to try to minimize the amount that your body is swaying from side to side. Note that I said minimize, you won't be able to sort of completely isolate the leg. Perfect. Send the right foot down, we'll swap over to the other side. Exhale, knee to chest, draw it in close, release the ankle. And take it around the other way. Good. Right knee to chest, left knee to chest, that's the sign we're on. Draw it nice and close. And then maybe start to just take it side to side, minimizing the amount that the rest of your body is moving aside from your arms, which are guiding it, side to side. supposed to be able to finish our practice with press through the heels, and on your inhale, lift your hips, your lower back, middle back off the floor. Make sure that you're squeezing your glutes to lift your hips out a little bit higher, and hold here for a couple of breaths. If you wish to, you can always interlace your hands underneath your back. If you want to take it a little bit higher up the spine into your thoracic spine. Then very gently lower your hips, middle back, down to the ground. Good. Last position here before we come into our relaxation. Press your lower back into the mat now. Inhale, send your legs high towards the ceiling. We just take a moment here to point the toes and flex. Notice how as you point your toes, the very tops of your foot stretches. And as you flex the foot, you get activation and stretch across the whole back of your leg. Good. You can give the legs a little shake. You can do the same for the arms as well. If you feel as though you're in a space where you feel comfortable to do so, you can roll out the wrists and ankles if you need to one more time. Perfect. And then hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a tight embrace here. If you want to rock side to side, you're more than welcome to. But then allow the feet to settle down on the mat. And you can then choose your posture for your final Shavasana. Semi-supine like I'm lying now. Butterfly with the soles of the feet together. Or extending your legs long into your full corpse pose if you wish to. You can also take any other posture that feels good for your Shavasana, but I want you to make sure it's a posture you can remain comfortable in for an extended period of time. Take a deep breath in by nose. Open your mouth wide, let that breath go out the mouth. Breath in by nose. Make your sigh out the mouth as indulgent as possible. Last one here, breath in by nose, out by mouth. And allow yourself here to just breathe normally now. So instead of controlling your breath, you become the witness to it. And you just notice it with zero attempt to control. And either focus on just witnessing your breath, or maybe follow your focus and your attention with the sound of my. If you would rather take a Shavasana in silence, you're more than welcome to pause the video now. Otherwise, allow your focus to follow the sound of my voice. And take your awareness to your feet. Your feet. And see if you can relax all the parts of your feet so that they feel heavy against the mat. Bring your awareness to your legs. And allow them to either feel heavy against the mat, or maybe if you're in semi-supine, bring your knees to knock in towards one another. Relax your hips and your lower back against the mat. Allow this area to be heavy and soft. Allow the whole of your back to melt down towards the mat. Imagine you're propped against a soft surface here like a mattress, so that you just let go. Let your shoulders, as you do so, allow the front of your chest to expand. Let your head be heavy against the mat. Let go of all tension across the neck and your jaw. And soften all the features of your face from the line of your hair to the edge of your chin. Allow yourself to let go and just be. Shavasana. Start to deepen your breath in and out by nose, or in by nose and out by mouth, however you naturally be breathing. And as you deepen that breath, start to bring movement back to the small extremities of your bodies, fingers and toes and wrists and ankles. Take it to your head and neck as you move these from side to side. And then hug your knees close in towards your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. Roll all the way over to whichever side feels appropriate for you to do so. And just take a moment here. Don't feel the need to rush to get up. Just allow yourself to be. And use your hands to push yourself all the way up to an upright position. And bring yourself into a comfortable seat. Your hands are on your lap, your spine is long. And all we need to do now is acknowledge our practice. To thank ourselves for showing up for ourselves, doing something for our bodies, our mind, our soul. Take a final moment here to float your awareness back. That thing that you held in your mind's eye that you were grateful for at the start of your practice. And come full circle and reflect on your gratitude. Reflect on that thing, that person that you hold close to you. And bow your chin down towards your chest. Take a deep breath in by nose. Let it go by mouth. And when you're ready, bring your eyes open and bring yourself all the way back to the room. Thank you, as always, for joining me. I hope to see you very soon, either in person or virtually once again. Have an amazing rest of your day.